Give giving you the real surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with your host, Skywalker Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to the Skywalker Morning Show, streaming live on YouTube and X. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Welcome into this beautiful Monday show I got ready for you. Coming up today, we pick up our Rating the Draft series. My man Blue, my boy Blue, he's skipping the line, man. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I mean, we really skipping the line, but I wanted to talk to y'all about this Blue Lightning the Cowboys added in their backfield in one Jaydon Blue. Also, we're going to talk about Schotty's press conference. Something interesting came out of that. And really, wasn't the presser, it was what preceded the presser that pretty much validates how I feel about Brian Schottenheimer. Well, what's good with your Bomb Squad? How we doing, man?
Bomb Squad!
How was everyone's weekend? You know, we got some good basketball that happened, some game sevens, some good game sevens, some bad game sevens. Players or teams advancing. Got the Cowboys having their first rookie mini camp. A little bit of news, also personal news that you guys will see later on today, and we'll be talking about rookie minicamp with that group a little bit later. Shouts out to you, Matt. Appreciate the drop 5 assists. Salute, brother. Keep being the people's champ. Word to the Rock. I did used to have do I got the Rock in here? Nope, I don't got it no more. I had it in here, brother. I took it out. Had some other things we had to put up in this soundboard. But appreciate y'all for stopping by, waking up with me this morning. You could be anywhere, but you decided to be here on the Skywalker Still Unleashed channel. Do me a favor. If you do enjoy what we do here, hit that like button, sub up. It is still fairly new. Share it with your friends, family, and foe. Let them know where to go for Cowboys content. All right, let's get right into it. I want to jump straight into the roundup because I want to talk about this Schotty presser for a little bit before we jump into Jaydon Blue, the Cowboys' 5th round pick.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So Schotty had his first solo presser following the draft. And if you follow Schottenheimer's press conferences when he was offensive coordinator, him taking command, I don't think is a shock, but that's kind of what I came away from, is that he really has commanded this thing. You would think he has been a head coach, a leader of an organization for quite some time. Now he's been around forever, right? Obviously his father as a coach, head coach in the league for many different teams, him being an assistant for many different teams. But Schotty he just has command. And if you've been following his channel, you've known back when he was OC, we were talking about him potentially being an interim guy and potentially being the head coach. I said one thing he can do is he'll win that damn room. And I think he continues to win it. They asked him in the presser about the philosophy in getting some of the new players acclimated this past weekend. And he mentioned the 3 C's. Get them comfortably a Cowboy, caught up with football, and most importantly, get them connected to one another. That latter part being the one that stands out the most to me, because we've seen this team have a disconnect publicly. We've seen this team have a disconnect in that locker room publicly, and from coach to player, player to player, what have you. And this is the most important thing in trying to establish that other C. Culture. Oh boy. See, when you say culture around here in these parts, Cowboys Nation, it gets tricky. It gets real tricky because something that I firmly believe in and I will stand on is that culture, the totality of Cowboys culture, of an organizational culture, really, it starts at the top for me. And we know how that goes. That's not changing, right? That's a bit toxic. You have to win in spite of, in my opinion. But what Schotty is trying to do, and what I think he is doing, is he's trying to control what he can control, right? He's trying to establish what he can. And I think that is locker room culture. All right, Sky. Now we peeling layers. You doing a bit too much. Nah, not really. You have organizational culture that I think absolutely starts at the top. But the coaches, the players, especially the head coach, they have a little bit more stranglehold on that locker room culture. And I think that's something that Schotty is trying to establish and trying to shift from years past. Now, again, this, don't get it twisted. Hearing the term culture pop up again and trying to change it, this isn't new. We've heard McCarthy talk about it. We've heard Garrett talk about, like, we've heard these guys do it. Hell, McCarthy, one of the first things he said during the COVID, you know, one of his big quotes was, "We're going to be about winning. Everything will be about winning," right? Like, he tried to establish that in a way, but he couldn't overcome, and he didn't have I don't think he had the personality really to overcome the true culture leader above him. So can can Schotty establish that locker room culture? And everything to me that he's exhibited since coming here as since being elevated, let me say this, as an offensive coordinator and now a head coach, it shows that he's the type of coach that you run through the wall for, not just to the wall for. Again, not new. If you've been around here on this channel, we've talked about that with Schottenheimer. Just listen to the players and not just listen, right? Because words are just words at the end of the day. What are your actions? And an example of this, a very early example of this, is Micah Parsons. Micah said something at that home run derby, Reliant home run derby a while back that, again, this predates, Schotty's 3 C's and Schotty having his press conference. But this is what, and this is the middle of the quote, but this is what Micah had to say about Schotty. He said, quote, "Schotty showed up to my event and Schotty's been around to try and build relationships. So I feel like we're at the point where if he asks me for help to come in for leadership aspect and to be around the guys and show face, that's something I want to do for my coach." That last part right there. For my coach. I'm not saying he didn't have a good relationship with Coach McCarthy. That's not what I'm saying at all. And hell, he may have said something similar about Coach McCarthy. He ain't show up the voluntary OTAs for Coach McCarthy. No, I'm just playing. But this is just an early example. Now, obviously, we have to see if they can build on top of this, but this is an early example of running through the wall for your coach, right? He's much more Dan Quinn in the sense of a guy that can galvanize an entire team to run through a wall for than he is Coach McCarthy. Now, we don't want to go too far left with Dan, and Dan just took his team to the NFC Championship game. So, I mean, it's not a bad comparison. If you wouldn't be compared to Dan Quinn, it's not a bad thing. But we've seen when Dan was here, it was a bit too buddy-buddy with these guys, and it was a little loosey-goosey in that locker room, and some things they got away with that some of these players had to call out. I feel like, let me say this, I don't know, but I feel like Schotty's going to be a little bit more tightened up when it comes to some of that, a little bit more buttoned up. And we damn sure know Flus is going to let a lot of things fly. But this is just an early example, Cowboys Nation, of running through the wall for your coach. And there's going to be times where, hey, man, your coaching staff is going to have to overcome that. Your coaching staff is going to have to win a couple games, out coach a team, or just flat out have your guys out prepare another squad, right? Like, that's just the reality of this league. You got 17 games plus the postseason. Even if you have the best players in the world every single week, sometimes they may not show up. So sometimes you're going to need those coaches, and vice versa. Sometimes your coaches may be off that week. Terrible game plan. You're going to have to overcome that. Y'all know that's been my saying here for quite some time. And I'm a big fan of what they've done with this coaching staff. I really like Schotty. We'll see what happens. Was he my first, candidate? Was he my second, third, or fourth? No, but I like him. I like the hires that they've done. I like on both sides of the ball. I feel like there's going to be cohesion, not just from an XO standpoint, player personnel standpoint, but this part, right? Connecting the players. And you can't deny how important it is. You can't, because we've seen the disconnect in that locker room. We've seen, let's just be real, the D-Law, Micah Parsons disconnect. That's on the defensive side of the ball. We've seen CeeDee Lamb and Coach McCarthy disconnect. We've seen offensive coordinator, head coach disconnect. Now, that's not to say these guys weren't cool off the field. Between Mike and D-Law, they weren't. But I mean, the other way around. So at the very early stages of the Schotty era, he's trying to get these guys all on the same page, connected from a relationship standpoint. So they're not just running through the wall for him, but they're playing for each other and running through the wall for the man next to them. And I appreciate that for Schotty, Cowboys Nation. Toxic said last year you saw a complete disconnect from the front office to the coaching staff to roster. That can't happen again. Absolutely. You 100% saw that disconnect happen from top to bottom. And let's be honest, it started right away with the McCarthy era. And that's something I appreciate now that isn't happening with the Schottenheimer era. There is no disconnect with the OC head coach. There is no defensive coordinator situation. And now we see, hopefully, there is no player disconnect. Now, not everybody gonna get along. I don't need everybody to get along. Right? But when we get in that locker room, we gotta have that one mindset, that one goal to play for each other and go out here and get this victory. You know what I mean? Shouts out to you guys that just joined over on X. I guess I can't say Twitter no more. I don't know, man. But appreciate you jumping in here. If you want to do me a solid, come on over to YouTube. Hit that follow. And whenever I'm not dropping videos or live on X, I'm here on the tube. All right, Cowboys Nation. Let's get into our pick up, I should say, our rating the draft series. I'm really fired up to talk about this draft pick because it's something that the Cowboys have been missing for a few years now in that backfield. And that's some lightning right there, baby. That you really need some juice in that backfield. And you got that with one, Jaydon Blue.
Hallelujah.
My boy Blue.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's get it.
Hey, we're excited about having you here.
Yes, sir.
Running back Jaydon Blue, 5th round pick out of Texas. Very impressive young man. It becomes very obvious how impressive he is the moment you hear him speak. You know, I listened to a few of his interviews, and you quickly understand that the Cowboys didn't just fall in love with his talent, but they respected or respect the mindset of who this player is. And I'll tell you one of the things that kind of stood out to me here in a second, but let's kind of get to know him a little bit. Blue won a 7-on-7 championship in high school for East Houston. Shouts out to Houston. He's from the H. And the last time the Cowboys took a 7-on-7 type player, not saying that they didn't take one, you know, since LVE, but I remember when LVE was drafted, he was a big 7-on-7 player in high school because I don't even think they had tackle football where he was from. Not the case for Blue. He's from Texas. So, but Blue was a beast in the 7-on-7s. And there's a video I'm going to play here in a second where he talks about how that actually helped him become a versatile weapon. But one thing, I don't give a damn if you play 7-on-7, 8-on-8, 9-on-9, 11-on-11. You can't teach that track speed. And he did let her in track and ran a 4.28 at his pro day. And he ran a 4.35 at the combine, but he ran that on like a torn quad or something? Got to the pro day, ran a 4.28, and he even said I could have ran faster. I mean, this dude is truly just ridiculously fast. His quote, "My versatility, speed, the ability to catch the ball at the backfield, run routes. I'm willing to go in there and pass protect, put my body on the line for the team, and I'm just willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win." Let me quickly go back to where he talked about catching the ball at the backfield, because he is truly exceptional at it. I think the best coming out of the league. It probably could be a slot receiver if he wanted to, if that's what he decided to focus on in college. But take a listen to Blue talking about how he became so good as a receiver. And this is from the podcast Third and Longhorns on YouTube.
Just your ability to catch and get out of breaks, man, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so, you know, when I grew up, I started playing running back, of course. Then once I got, like, towards, you know, the high school, started playing 7-on-7. And I was one of probably the top 7-on-7 players in the country because I was a natural receiver.
Yeah.
What's that, Fast Houston, right?
Yeah, Fast Houston. So,
yeah.
I mean, I was cooking the best DBs, the top DBs that's probably rated high in this draft. I mean, I was, you know, going against them in 7-on-7, and it was easy for me. So, you know, once I got to the college level, I kind of, like, when I trained with my coach, I didn't train on running back or drills and nothing like running back drills. I did all receiver stuff because I knew the running back stuff was natural for me, and I wanted to, you know, get better at the receiving stuff. So I knew that I was going to have to play receiver in order for me to be the guy that I wanted to be in the league. So I knew that now the league has changed. You got to be, a receiving back also. Those are the best backs.
So, he states that playing in the 7-on-7 actually helped him become a better pass catcher. Here's what Will McClay said about the pick here. He says, at the end of the day, you're looking for explosive playmakers. You put him in the backfield behind what we built in the line and the others, and it gives you the opportunity to be explosive. I know Coach Schottenheimer has some tricks up his sleeve to use the skill set he has, but an explosive player that can flip the field for you on carries, can also win in man-to-man coverage versus linebackers. It's just a different speed that he plays with. And, outside of what he does on the field, he said something in that interview from Third and Longhorn that stuck out to me. That was really striking to me. It was about his 2024 season where he admitted midway through the year, he started to get down on himself, whether it be the injuries, whether it be the play. He had some fumbling issues earlier in that year, right? That's something we'll talk about that he has to clean up. But instead of kind of soaking in, instead of just staying in that funk, he went to coach Tashard Choice. Shouts out to TC, former Cowboy, running backs coach. The Cowboys actually interviewed for that position here. That'd have been nice. Got the running backs coach and you get Blue. But Choice kind of helped uplift him. And he came to the realization, hey, man, I got to change my demeanor because it was starting to affect how he practiced. Again, he's understanding. He's reflecting that, hey, man, this isn't good for not just me, but for those around me. So he went on to talk about how I have to be a better practice player, not just for me, but for the young guys in that room. I have to be a better person and player for them. And to his credit, he did that. He ended up finishing the season with 14 touchdowns, over 1,000 total yards, and mind you, in part-time duty. And he went into the postseason and scored what? It was like 4 tutties or something like that. And was cooking. Absolutely cooking. But he knew, and they talked about this, he knew it was important to finish this season on a high note if he wanted to get to the NFL, if he wanted to be a higher selection in the NFL. Now, he wasn't. He was a day 3 pick, pick in the 5th round. And if you ask me, I personally think he was a value pick. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get into this rating, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not familiar with how we do this, we have 3 categories. And the first one we start with here is the value rating, which I give Jaydon Blue 4 stars for the value. Getting this type of home run playmaker in the 5th round, that's real value, ladies and gentlemen. This is a player with explosive traits as a runner, as a pass catcher, as he just talked about more with the 7-on-7. You see the versatility jump off the screen. And for a team that's been starving, and maybe this is one of those things where you're going to the grocery store hungry, or you're going to the grocery store high. For a team that's been starving for this type of juice out the backfield since 2022, when Tony Pollard was at the top of his game and he was healthy, this is a welcome sight for sore eyes. In 2024, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think the Cowboys had a single rush or reception from a running back that went for over 30 yards. Not one. That changes the moment Blue steps on that field. He's a guy that can take a routine touch and go 40 or go to the crib, a screen, a swing pass, find a cutback lane, whatever. He gives the offense something that they have not had for a couple years. And with this scheme and this play caller, I do think they're going to utilize that, unlike the Tony Pollard situation where it took a couple seasons to get him going. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Another interesting point of why I kind of give this 4 stars for value is that for far too long, the Cowboys have had to grind out drives, y'all. The Cowboys have had to score and get 6 the hard way for the last couple of seasons. You're looking at other teams be able to quick strike and score anywhere on the field. No offense, but that backfield wasn't doing that last year. Hell, 2 years ago with Tony Pollard with the knee, or I'm sorry, with the ankle, wasn't doing that. Outside of CD Lamb, they were hardly using the one guy that had that ability, or one and a half guys if you call, Cooks and Turpin. Again, Blue steps on that field and he immediately gives you that game-breaking ability on day 3. So I like it. And the Cowboys, if you go listen to the call, they wanted to trade up for Blue. I think it was Jay who said, man, we was getting nervous. We were trying to trade up for you, but you fell to us. So you can look at that as, hey, man, they didn't have to give up any assets, and they got one of their explosive guys. And after round 3, for me, my mindset shifted with the running backs. And I talked about this with DMV, and I've talked about this with you guys. If they weren't going to get that bell cow earlier in the draft, then they had to set themselves up to get some complementary pieces, because they were clearly going to start running a tandem or a committee. And I think they started that with getting Jaydon Blue. And I got this as a 4 stars. I think this is a home run pick here in the 5th round. Really nice. I don't even call it just like a depth piece, but I think a role playing piece. And we'll get to that a little bit later too. That you don't get this type of explosiveness this late in day 3. You get some guys, right, that obviously can do that. But 4.25 type of speed, game breaking ability. Yeah, man. Like this one all the way in the 5th round, which I got. Scroll back up because that's where I saw some numbers. Here we go. Dro gives it 5. Special K gives it a 4. Toxic says 4 starts, feels 4 feels right. JL23 gives it a 4. Marv give it a 4. MB gives it a 4. Sin City a 4. I think a lot of us are pretty much in that 4 to 5 star range right here for Blue. Darren Posey. Hey, sometimes Blue run like he got that dang blue chew. Boy, I'd be out. We're gonna take a look at it though, and we're gonna look at some film. Let's hit this phone line real quick. We got a caller, our guy Nacho from the Bay Area. What's good with you, Nacho? How you doing this morning?
Hey, man, Scott. How you doing? Good morning, and thank you for taking my call. Yeah, no, absolutely. I am with you on that. Just very excited about. I think Jaydon Blue is one of those hidden gems that we really got late in the rounds. As much as we were all hoping for, or maybe the theme was, get that receiver, get that running back, and not addressing those needs early, in the draft, could have been a bit frustrating for the fan base. At the same token, I truly believe this was one of the better drafts we've had in a while, in my opinion, based on the fact that, would you say that, normally we would probably hit on the first couple rounds, always take a risk on that second round, if you will, and then kind of sporadically just choose players throughout the later rounds. Yet this year seems like, man, we were just, like the first 3 players we grabbed, I can see, the Booker, Donovan, and then taking a risk on Ravel coming off that injury. These are dynamic players that can come on in and contribute and potentially be starters. But what we did in the later rounds is what excites me in the fact that we picked good players, not just who's that or who do we draft. So, but anyway, going back to the question that I wanted to really ask you about Jaydon Blue, do you see us finally, maybe under Schottenheimer and our new offensive scheme, using a player like Jaydon Blue to finally, I've been searching and wanting since Tony Dorsett back in the days with Danny White, that screen passing game for that running back? Can you see a combination of course, focusing on running the football, but also infusing finally a screen passing game with our backs.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't take a guy like Blue and not use him in that manner. And I think it'll go beyond just screens. I think they'll deliberately use him to run some legitimate routes. Get him out in Texas routes, the wheel routes. Hell, they'll put him out in the slot and just have him route up a linebacker in general. So, yeah, I think you're going to see him using that way for sure.
Man, it's exciting. It's exciting, Lou, and Sky. You know how normally you, as a fan, you have maybe one or two players that you just you get really excited about or really enamored about, and you're like, oh, man, when they grabbed Jaydon Blue, my son is 15 years old, and him and I have been kind of together since he's been a kid. We always kind of, scout our own players and kind of a wish list of our draft picks and all that. That Jaydon Blue, oh man, he is pumped up. So let's hope that we all these players come to fruition, and it's an exciting time in Dallas. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate you, Nacho. Hey, yeah, you too, man. Hey, Darren say he wrote a script. He might have, man. He might have. Our guy. That's our guy, Nacho, man. Yeah, I think they're going to utilize Blue that way. As we get going with this rating series here, you'll see I'm very confident in that. If you're not confident in this franchise utilizing Blue in the way he should be, I get it, right? This is PTSD. We've been traumatized. We've seen this before, not just with running back with Tony Pollard, but just with weapons in general. How many times have we said, hey, man, you got this guy, Cooks or Turpin or Tony, whomever it may be, and we just don't feel like they're using them the right way. I feel a little bit more confident because of this coaching staff. I do think this is not the same type of coaching staff as previous years. Thus, I do think some of these players will be utilized to their strengths a lot more. A whole lot more. Hey, T-Jack, I definitely thought about that. Blue 22. I definitely thought about that. Definitely a missed opportunity, but they're not going to give him the 22. They're not going to do it. Be nice, but they're not. All right, let's talk about his year one impact. So his rookie impact and where I have it from a star rating standpoint. I'm giving this one 4 stars, and honestly would not shock me if he outperforms that. And I know we should probably be cautious in how a rookie weapon is utilized early on, especially like I just said, if you have PTSD from, being a Cowboy fan. However, barring any injury, I think Blue is going to have a real role from the jump. Look at the backfield, man. Number one, it's wide open. There's no clear-cut lead dog. There may be a guy that you might say, hey, this guy's a favorite at this point because, free agency or because of a specific role, but there's no clear-cut, Ezekiel Elliott in his prime, a franchise tag Tony Pollard. But more importantly, nobody in that room has the skill set that Blue brings to the table, right? His speed, the agility, the suddenness, it's unmatched. Nobody in that room on that depth chart on this team plays like him. Shouts out to Vox for the film right here. And based on how the Cowboys have approached this position in the offseason, I think it's very obvious. Back to me, you had to start turning the page to, okay, we got to start setting up this backfield to where we can run a 1-2 punch out. And I don't give a dang who the one is. Jaden Blue's the 2. He is the lightning. Whoever that, he doesn't need a lot of volume to make an impact. He is a low volume type of player that can have a high impact. I don't need to force feed him 20 touches to get him going. And how many times did we used to hear that over the years, right? Hey, man, we got to give him 20 plus touches because he got to get in the rhythm. And that's not to discredit backs needing the rhythm. You absolutely do need running backs to get in the rhythm. However, he don't need much. He can break one off for a long run, 40 yards of tutty in his first 5-6 touches. And I think that could raise his value even more. Now, he does have to clean up the ball security issues. There's no doubt about that. I think that's something that will happen. I told you this guy. I said this to you guys last week. If I'm getting 14 touchdowns out of Jaydon Blue and he's fumbling 4 times in the year, I'll live with that ratio all day and tomorrow. Not saying I'm okay with him fumbling, but you damn sure on the line. He's right. I don't think he'll ever be a guy that they'll lean on in that way. Because if they do, I think he'll be a liability. But much like Tony Pollard, when he first came in, Pollard was not a good pass protector, but he developed into a reliable one later on in his career. Can Blue do that? But that's where Blue in year 1 is really going to have the impact. That play you saw right there. Out of the backfield as a pass catching weapon. He's a mismatch all day and tomorrow. He's exactly the kind of rookie who doesn't need to be the starter to be a difference maker. He has a unique skill set. He's got the opportunity. And the way I think this offense is shaping up, there's a clear path to where he carves out a role. That's why I'm pretty stubborn here on his year 1 impact. I do think that Blue will have a big impact this season. He doesn't even need to be a 300 touch. Well, 300 touches is a workhorse. He doesn't need to be a 200 touch guy to have a big impact because he's a low volume type of player, low volume, high impact type of player. And I got 4 stars for his rookie impact, Cowboys Nation. Where would you give him on a star rating system for his rookie impact here? Being fair. I didn't give it a full 5, but I do think that even if it's only 8 to 10 touches, which is a little on the low end, right? If you do 8 touches a game, a little on the low end. I'm pretty confident in the way that they're going to use him, the way this offense is going to be, that at least 1 or 2 of them are going to be significant touches. Significantly positive touches, let me say that. Marv's got a 4. James has a 4. JA a 4. Matt a 5. Yeah. I'm with you. I think, Dros has a 5 or 4. I'm sorry, because we got new line and new O-line. And I was waiting to see where a couple of these guys. Let me get your thoughts on this. Toxic says 2 stars for now, and JL says 2.5 to 3. Is this the PTSD? Is this the PTSD? Because again, I understand, but yeah, I don't want to say this is blind optimism. I'm just based off of me hearing how Shotty wants to utilize or how he wants to run this offense, and getting a guy like Clayton Adams and Connor Riley, but mostly Clayton Adams here to pair with Shotty. I think this offense is not going to look like your offenses in the years past. So it's the PTSD. The Toxic said, oh, yes. Special K said, I got to see how the touches go. Fair, man, fair. I am not going to fight y'all on that. I totally get it. JB said, I got to see it for real. I get it, bro. Now, for this exercise, for this series, it's not based on that, right? It's just based off of what I think things will look like. We had more evidence over the last few years because we had, Mike McCarthy was here for a number of years, or Kellen Moore was here. So to be honest with you, and I don't know where I put Deuce at, I have to go back and look at that. But let's just say we still stuck McCarthy. We kept him around, or Kellen around. This would have been lower. Not gonna lie, this would have been lower because they weren't using him in that manner. Let me go back to what Will McClay said though. McClay said, I know Coach Schottenheimer has some tricks up his sleeve to use the skill set he has. And he said, can also win in man-to-man coverage versus linebackers. I want to take a look at a couple plays, if you guys don't mind. Now, I don't think Blue is going to be a gadgety player. I think he's better than being a gadgety player. I think your gadget player, and this is with all due respect to Turpin, is Turpin. Let Turpin be the gadget player. I think Blue can run the ball. I think Blue can catch the ball at the backfield. He can do more things for you in that manner. But I want to go and take a look at, because we've seen how he was used in college. What are some examples of how he can be used in the pros? And for those that have been around since Schotty has been the head coach, I'm under the belief, I have no evidence of this in the sense of we haven't seen any preseason games or even practices. I'm under the belief this offense will look more like the McVays, Shanahan, McDaniels, O'Connells. I think it will look a lot more like that. And then I felt even better about it when they got a guy like Clayton Adams who was doing some of those things in Arizona. So I said, let me go look at a player who I think could be most comp to as a receiver out the backfield, because I think that's where he can have a huge impact early on. And you might say, well, Scott, you crazy if we're bringing up a name like Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying this guy's Christian McCaffrey in general, but utilization out the backfield could be in a way like Christian McCaffrey. But closer, a player that's closer from a draft pedigree standpoint, stature standpoint, is A-Chain out of Miami. And look, talked about, a Schottenheimer offense looking like the Shanahan tree. I said, well, let me go to the Shanahan tree and let me find a guy who I think can compare to a Blue. Hell, Blue was faster than A-Chain coming out, but A-Chain's also a speed demon. Both of those guys, 5'9" in stature. I think Blue is a little bit bigger than A-Chain. But you go look at how the Dolphins utilized A-Chain, whether it be out the backfield or in the slot, and here he's lined up in the backfield right now. One of the things you're going to notice from Miami is going to be their splits. The Cowboys for years have been a team that has been very, very wide in their splits. They will be outside the numbers a lot, right? Like these receivers will be outside the numbers. You'll notice here with Miami, these aren't extremely condensed splits in this play, but they're at the numbers here, right? In the slot. And we're going to get, I believe A-Chain is going to go in motion. And we're just going to get a screen pass and get elephants on parade, right? We want to get these guys out here and we want to get A-Chain in space. We get him in space. He's going to find a way and he's going to make a play. I think you can do similar things like this with a Jaydon Blue. Next play. Now, we talked about those splits, right? I think this is what you're going to see a lot of this. A lot of condensed splits. And Coach talked about this. And what I love about being tighter in this way is you can trip up the second level of the defense. You can get easy picks. And when you combine it with pre-snap motion, at snap motion, post-snap action, play action, things like that, you're going to trip up the defense. And in this case, you get kind of a really half-assed play action, but it works. Run a RPO type of look, or if you want to call it run pass option type of look. Well, what it's going to do is it's going to take Kyzir White right out of this play. I mean, he gets completely lost. Let's take a look. And, oh, by the way, here's A-Chain, where he's in the slot, where we think that Blue could do some things out of the slot. So A-Chain gets that push motion. We get the play action, and Kyzir White is gone, ladies and gentlemen. He's gone. Elephants on parade. We got the numbers. A-Chain doesn't even need the numbers. He gets a touchdown. Another play from Miami here, right? Where we're going to get a couple motion. We'll get the H-back tight end motion out the backfield and make this look like a run with the pistol and get some play action. A couple things. The at-snap motion, I want you to take a look at Tariq Woolen and what that is going to do to the cornerback, who right now has his eyes on A-Chain, by the way, who is out here. Out wide right now, the number one. But when you get the at-snap motion and you get, here he is right here, Tariq Woolen has to stay out because of Tyreek Hill. But I want you guys to take a look at the backfield. We're getting play action, and with that play action, we're drawing these defenders. And when you draw those defenders with the at-snap motion, pushing out the cornerback, the play action, we're going to open up this space right here for our guy A-Chain. Simple yet effective ways to get a guy like A-Chain the ball. Now let's go to Shanahan's offense. This was back in 2023. The Eagles come out in a single high and they're going to man up across the board here, which, I mean, I know Brock Purdy had to be just licking his chops when he saw this. Christian McCaffrey on the linebacker, this specific linebacker at that. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? So Christian McCaffrey, they're going to motion Christian McCaffrey out. We want to make sure. We just want to make sure that this is man. And whenever you see that linebacker following in that way, we're going to get man. And we want this. I believe Jennings is going to run off this cornerback here. We're going to try to run interference. Doesn't really work much, but it doesn't matter. So now at that stem here, he can go multitude of ways. He can run a out route. He can come in. He can fake this thing and go up. Multiple ways. We got this corner getting ran off. We have this mismatch at linebacker. And just watch what Christian McCaffrey does to this man. And it's a simple kind of faking it out. He could have even sold a little more, but he didn't have to. Watch 41. I mean, he's done. Done. And we've seen Blue used in this manner in college. So for a guy like Schottenheimer, who we know has come out and said, hey, man, I don't mind stealing. I have stole. I still plays, and I make it fit to what we do. When he gets his hands on what he can do from a schematic standpoint with Blue, I think you'll see a lot of that. He'll go around the league and see how these type of teams, the McVays, the Shanahans, the McDaniels, these type of guys, how do they utilize their specialty guys? And Christian McCaffrey and A-Chain come to mind for me more than some of these other guys because they are weapons out of the backfield. They can run all the type of routes, and so can Blue. Let's wrap to our guy, VIP. What's good with you, VIP? How you doing, man?
Guy, it's VIP, baby. I miss my guy. How's my guy?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man? How are you and the family?
Look, me and the fam is good. After watching the draft, this kid Blue, there's something about him, man. They said he ran a 4.2 at his I don't know if it's true, but that's what they said. He ran a 4.2, 4.29 or something like that at his combine.
Yeah, he ran a 4.28. Yep.
Yeah. So what that does is it creates a mismatch, a legendary mismatch. Not only with a linebacker, who are you going to put on him? So my dream, I just had this ultimate dream of a wishbone of putting him in the backfield with turn up with his 4.2 speed.
Turpin, yeah.
Then you could put Mafa. So you got Mafa, turn up. So if you need an extra blocker, you can use Mafa. But I like what Shotty's ideology is when it comes to his whole outlook. He's switching up everything. You heard he's switching up the locker room. He's like, he had him sit down in the conference. He's like, all right, wherever you sitting, all right, we moving you around. Get up and move and have a seat.
Yeah, that's
different.
Yeah, that's something that came out of one of the headline things was, hey, I moved these guys around. I'm with the leaders, close to the leaders. That's part of trying to switch up, try to shake up some things in that locker room culture. And I'm not mad at him for that because you don't want some of those things from the McCarthy era to carry over. You want to kind of set your own locker room culture as a head coach. So I'm not mad at that at all.
Facts. I love that. I love that. And what I love is this, from top to bottom, I don't think I've ever been this in love with a draft. From top to bottom, from first to seventh, I think we doing something, man. We cooking right now.
Yeah, I mean, they had a good draft. No doubt about it. They did a lot of BPA early on, and then I think they got good value here with Blue and even with Jay Toia and things like that. So, I mean, I like the draft for sure. I wish they could have matched that energy with the offseason prior to the draft, free agency and trades. And even right now, they still can make moves. But the draft in general, though, was really, really good.
Facts. But I do this one thing that I'm optimistic about because I know my owner. He's a parking lot pimp. We know this guy likes to park. But June 1st, that's when he likes to chef up. He'll go snap somebody up June 1st that got cut for him because there's always June 1st cuts.
No, so June 1st, if you're designated a June 1st release, you're eligible to be signed. So I don't, June 1st really doesn't matter. June 1st only matters for the cap. So say we cut somebody June 1st, we get the cap. if a team designated somebody a June 1st release in April or or March, you can sign them. You don't have to wait till June.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you had to wait till June. Okay, all right.
No, you gotta wait.
That's game. You put me on the game. I respect it.
So
because I know. Because I know there's always cuts around then. So I always know, like, we always tend to pick up somebody, like, after they start making their cuts or whatever.
Yeah, the cuts usually happen in camp. You get that first. Well, now they don't even do that anymore, I don't believe. They used to do waves of cuts. They used to do, like, 2 or 3 waves of cuts. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't even think there's any waves anymore. I think there's one cut, right? I think that they just do one cut now. But there was a deadline, I don't know when it was, to where you can now sign veterans and it won't hurt your compensatory picks. So, Cowboys love that. So they can now sign veterans and it won't hurt them. But June 1st, they can sign anybody before June 1st.
Right, because we got one for Law and who else did we lose? Jaydon Blue, right? We got picks for them too, right? Oh,
compensatory picks? Yeah, you're probably you're definitely going to get some compensatory picks next year. You won't know them until next year, but yeah, I think you'll definitely get some for those guys because they haven't signed anybody in free agency to counter it. So yeah.
Well, that's what I was hoping to use for ammo. That's why the only reason I'm bringing them up. Yeah. So we want to go get that wide receiver 2. At least we got a little ammo, and we don't really got to dig in our stash. You heard?
Yeah,
so, we got a little more ammo to play with. As far as draft picks, say, all right, well, I want to go get a wide receiver 2 for somebody. Woo. I don't got to really dig in my stash.
Not yet. Next year, they'll get that ammo after the season. Now they can operate under the, impression that, hey, we're getting a couple 5th rounders, so we'll give up our own 5th rounder. But I'd imagine they kind of want to see where that falls first, unless unless you get a dude and you got to give up a 5th and you don't care about where that 5th falls. But we're talking about the Cowboys. They're very calculated in how they want to move their late round picks.
I got my last question is, have you heard anything about Sam I Am? What's good with Sam? Is he on schedule to be on point for camp? What do we know about Sam?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like everything is going well for Sam. In fact, I think it was Patrick Nosey Walker that talked about this on Twitter where he said, somebody asked him about Sam and he said, it's a good thing you're not hearing nothing. That means that he is right on schedule and he should be ready for camp. He may start off slow, but remember, he tore that knee up at the beginning of camp. So we'll be a year.
It was early. That's all I'm saying.
We'll be 12 months into the rehab. So I'll be shocked if Sam is not ready at the first week or so of camp.
I do. That's one thing I do like. I like that new kid, Easy. I think like we got the best D ends in a piece. I don't know when we had this D ends that had the caliber that we have. I mean, I'm waiting to see what Easy does, but we still got Flower. That's why I really want to know what Sam I Am is.
You say in the East?
What's that, King?
I didn't hear what you said. You said we got the best DNs in the East?
I think.
Me
personally, who?
Micah helps you out with that for sure. I'll give you that.
Right.
I mean, you remove Micah. You remove Micah from that equation. You looking at this room like, but you add Micah to it. You're like, yeah, Micah plus all of those guys. Yeah. I think you got a nice little rotation.
But Flower had a dime last year, right? Well, how many sacks Flower had?
Man, Flower good. Yeah, for sure. But I think he's a rotational guy. I think he's a situational pass rusher. I don't think he's, starting defensive end.
No. I think we throw that Rook back in there. I like the way he holds the end. Throw Micah in, and then you just rotate from there. Rotate around that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They got an absolute animal, and then they got for right now. Because we'll see about E-Rock. I think E-Rock can develop into more than just a rotational guy, but he's a rookie, and let's be real. Right now, he's going to be a pass rush specialist. I think more than anything. But if he can develop into more of a dual guy, which he's shown the ability to be a run guy in college, but he's definitely he need peanut butter. He 100% needs peanut butter, and if you watch his tape, you will come away with that. So I think maybe next year, add more strength to his more mass to his body that can help him. But from just a pure pass rushing standpoint, with him, Micah, Fowler, and then you throw in whatever you can get from Sam. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun depth depth chart for sure. A fun rotation. If nobody gets hurt.
Respectfully, I've been watching kid tape. He got a lot in the toolbox. I don't think I've ever seen a DN coming with all the moves. He's got every move that, like, on the next level. I like this kid. I like the way Home move, man.
Yeah, he can get home. He can get home in a multitude of ways from a pure pass rushing standpoint. No doubt about it. We're going to have to have White Cotton and those guys coach these boys up is in the run game, right? We'll see if Nealon can be that guy. I think Micah is going to continue to improve in that manner. Again, I think E-Rock can do it. He's just he plays. Look, he plays small. He's long. He has the length. He can rush like a mug. But from a strength standpoint, he need peanut butter. That's all I'm saying. Fowler, that ain't his game. Sam, I don't know, man. Whatever the hell you can get from Sam. So from a pure pass rushing standpoint, this is going to be fun. Can these guys defend the run is where we need White Cotton and them boys to get the best out of them.
Facts. Well, you know what it is, man. I love the kid Blue too, man. Just something about home. He gives me that spark of we ain't never had that. We ain't never have no real even have this speed. So Pollard
was a 4.3 guy. I mean, I know he ran a 4. He was hurt when he ran a 4.5, but it was on record that he was a 4.3 guy. But Blue was different. Blue was like a blur. Pollard was bigger. Pollard was like 6 foot 212-ish or something like that, right? And I think he was stronger. It was evident to see. But he also, like, Pollard took like maybe, and this is no disrespect because he was ridiculously fast. But it was like he needed, one gear, second gear, bow, now he hits it. Blue hits that mother. If he puts his foot in that ground and he has a runway, it's over. Like you have to put hands on him or it's over. And he usually makes that first guy. I mean, there's some plays where you like, hey man, because to me, he's a linear runner. But then when he hits the open field, you see some wiggle and you're like, yo, if he was a little bit more, if he was better with ball security and maybe like 205, 210, he's getting picked higher than the 5th round. You got major value.
He's top 10 because he's a game changer. He's when they compare him again, I start watching the tapes. I'm like, yo, this kid's a game changer. He can flip the field, like you said, like that. He can just a step his foot in the ground. He can flip the field. We've never had that type. We've never had that.
No. We've had it with Tony Pollard. That's why I said when I did this breakdown, we haven't had it in a few years. We haven't had it since 2022. Don't let recency bias get to you, VIP. If you need to go take a look at Tony Pollard in 2022, I'm gonna let you go do that when you get off the phone. Just go take a look at Tony Pollard in 2022. That's all I'm saying. Go watch him. Don't do that to TP.
I know he gives. I
don't do that to TP.
But that was before he broke his foot, though. Before he broke his foot,
You said
right?
we never had that, even with Tony. I'm telling you,
right,
we had that with Tony.
I'm caught up in the moment.
I know. I just gotta give. I gotta give.
Smoking a opium, B.
You're right. You're right. I'm just saying. I'm just trying. I don't want us to. You know how I feel. I don't want us to do that. I don't want us to get too far ahead to where we just completely saying unrealistic things. Nah, TP was like that before he got hurt. He absolutely was.
Yeah, no, like you said, no, we definitely. I don't think we utilized him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Correctly.
Only 1 year.
You heard? I don't think we've ever utilized him. But I think this kid, I like our coach's ideology, the way and I don't know if it's because, he grew up in this. We got to look. He was in the trenches. If you want to call it that, you heard? Because he was really in the trenches as a youngin'. As a YN, I don't want to, go with people's heads. I'm just saying.
You did not just call Shotty a YN.
I can't call him a YN. Well, I want to call him a YW.
Oh,
so which one we call him?
Okay, so he's a YTN, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, don't let me in that room because I'd be like, hey, so Shotty, Will Still from Skywalker Still Unleashed. How you feel about the young guys in the room calling you a YTN?
I think he'll love it though. I don't know. Something about it. I like him. I'm rocking with him.
I love Schotty,
At first,
man.
you know, we was all pushing back. But, yo, hey, he's a YNG, man. I respect my guy, man.
You a wild boy, yo. YTN. That's
but, yo,
crazy.
guy, I got to get back to work, man. You know it's all love. I'm glad to see my guy back at it.
Yeah.
You know it's nothing. I heard you back in Philly, too, man. I got goons around the way. They said you back in Phil, man. So if you need me, I'm outside, B.
I'm close.
Don't let it fool you, man. I'm out here, man.
I'm close. I'm going to take a trip up to New York, no doubt. I'm close, though.
Well, say less, man. Just tap into me. And, yo, we got to make it. Well, if you back here, then I'm planning to go to a game this year. I'm bringing my son to a game this year. You know, I wanted to go last year, but that whole year flipped over. I ain't want to waste my money on it. But I'm more encouraged this year.
For now, we'll talk to me in September. We gonna see if you out there. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Well, yo, let me finish rolling my hopium up, man. Don't kill my high. Come on,
you're right.
come on,
You're right.
guy.
You're right.
Don't
You're
kill
right.
my high,
You're
man.
right. You're right. You know, past that. I got you, bro. Shouts out to my man.
Yo, guy is love, baby. You know what it is. Yo, it's still no Slurpee season, man.
No Slurpee season.
We don't got no room for Slurpees this season.
No, sir. No, sir. Appreciate you, big dog. Get back to work.
Yes, sir.
YTN crazy. That crazy. Let me go ahead and get him up out of here. Bow. Nah, that ain't me, Matt. That's VIP. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going to games this year. Now that I don't have to work on game days, I'll do some streams on game days, right? I'll have some pregame stuff, some postgame stuff, right? But I'm definitely going to be at a few of these, whether it be in Dallas, up here, you know, when they play Washington, Philly, the Giants. Yeah, I'm excited to get back to a couple of these games. I see you guys are having some conversations about the fumbling. Something I talked about, right, when we broke him down. That is something he's going to have to work on. And I think Omega said, why didn't he fix it in college? Somebody help me out here. I want to say his fumble rate decreased in that back half. Any Texas fans in that back half of the year? No doubt, it still was an issue in general for the player. But I want to say it got better as 2024 went on. Could be wrong there, but it felt like it got better. So I think it can be corrected, man. I think it can, if not corrected, mitigated to the point where he's such an explosive athlete, right? He's such an explosive athlete that if you give me 14, and I'm not saying Blue is going to give me 14 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying. Let's be realistic here. If Blue can give me 8 tutties on minimal touches, and he fumbles the ball 3 times, loses one of them, I ain't tripping. I'm now, as a coach, you don't say that to him publicly or privately or any. You tell him, hey, man, get that situated. But in private, Shotty looking over the running backs coach and Clayton like, hey, man, we sitting at week 15. Blue got 8 tutties. He only fumbled the ball 2-3 times. Got to get him the ball in the postseason, or get him the ball to close out the year. That's all I'm saying, man. But yes, he has to get better at that. 100%. Oh, he had less fumbles this year versus last. Okay. Zeke had a fumbling problem too. I agree, Shaq. And I know 8 might seem like a whole lot. He has that ability to break it though. Like he don't need 250 touches to get 8 touchdowns. 8 could be a little bit unrealistic. I don't know. But I think he can definitely be a guy that can get you a lot of production in a low volume. Professor O said, if he can give me 3 tutties this year, I'd be happy. Okay. Tony had 562 and 3 tutties his rookie season. See, the only reason why I don't want to compare his rookie season to Tony Pollard's rookie season, Professor O, is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Different coaches, different emphasis, different utilization. We were screaming to get Tony Pollard the ball more in his rookie year, especially after he showed you in preseason that this dude has game-breaking ability, and they didn't utilize him that way. So I don't think comparing his rookie year to Jaydon Blue's rookie year is a good comparison because there's we're talking about the Garrett staff who really didn't utilize, multiple backs in that way. We're talking about Kellen Moore. So 3 touchdowns, it's a little bit slight to me. Three touchdowns, I'd be like, all right, whatever. Anybody can get you 3. Hell, I think what's my man from last year? Rico Dowdle got you 3 touchdowns the year before. I think he got you 4. Raising the bar a little bit higher for a guy that could take it to the crib anywhere on the field. That's all I'm saying. I see you guys bringing up Alec Pierce. Lemitra says, Scott, you like the idea of Alec Pierce as wide receiver too? Hell yeah. Give me. I think Pierce is on the last year of his deal, but right now I ain't got beggars can't be choosers. But he's young. If you're going to trade for a guy like that, he's a field stretcher, got the size, the X type of size. And you trade or you extend him. Omega says, I like him, but he scares me as all. Does he scare you because of the fumbles? And Professor O says, I'm not as high on Blue as everyone else. Okay, I see why you're saying. Okay, now I see why the bar is low for you on the production. If he can match polished production, I'd be cool with that. That's the thing with the draft, right? Is you're going to have differences of opinions on these players, but I try to just focus on the traits that he could bring here, and they're unmatched in that room. The problem is he's not an RB1. He needs to have a solid complement to him. The Cowboys don't have that. I bet you, had they had a Zach Charbonnet in their backfield, the other kid, Kenneth Walker, right, an actual lead, those who are down on Blue would feel a hell of a lot better because he is that complimentary piece. Now, he's going to be it regardless, but what happens if Javonte Williams doesn't work out, Phil Maffa doesn't work out, Miles Sanders, whomever, and now we're kind of force-feeding the complimentary back to be the lead back, and he gets worn down, the fumbles pop up, things like that. That is scary to think about. All right, let me do my last rating, which is the long-term outlook. And as I talked about, Braden Allen, as I talked about him being RB1, it's kind of why I have to knock him here for his long-term outlook. I have 2.5 stars, and here's why. For Blue to stick around in Dallas, at least for the long haul, and what I mean is past his rookie year, because long-term, I don't mean, or his rookie contract, I don't mean you're going to cut him in 2 years or anything like that. Just beyond his rookie contract, I think he's going to have to develop into an RB1. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen, but as it stands right now, he is more of a change of pace back. He's more of a complimentary back. He's a guy that you put in a tandem or a committee. The way the Cowboys operate, I don't know that he's a guy that they trust with volume. I don't know that he's a guy that they're going to be willing to invest the dollars and the years into as it stands right now, which is why I think he would need to develop into an RB1. Again, not a knock on who he can be, because there are a lot of backs who have had successful careers as complimentary backs. Plenty of talented players, productive players have made their name being a complimentary back. But we're also talking about the Cowboys. We're talking about a league that you're looking at contracts and you're looking at value. We're also about the running back value. It's constantly debated. It's tough to project a long-term, security for a guy who right now is tied to being a change of pace guy, speed, scheme, and space. Getting nothing wrong with that. That just is what it is right now. And think about this. The last time the Cowboys tried the complimentary back to lead back experiment, it was Tony Pollard. It didn't end well. It didn't at least end the way the front office wanted it to end. And this is a front office that remembers. They remember that type of stuff, and they get a little nervous about that, and they move cautiously moving forward. So I've got to see him develop into more of a lead guy. But I think he can thrive in a committee or a tandem setup early on in his career. That's where he's going to be most effective. And, for this front office to view him as a long-term type of piece, he's going to have to prove he's more than just a spark plug type of guy. So I got 2.5 stars here. He's got the talent to carve a really good role for a long time in the NFL. It just, right now, to me, it's that specific type of role. But if he truly wants to be more than just that type of player, he's going to have to be a guy that can be dependable all 3 downs. The potential's there. Path feels a little bit narrow right now, but we'll see. So I got 2.5 stars, Cowboys Nation. Where do you have his long-term outlook? JA has 2.5, 3. Lance Dunbar, man, if Lance wasn't a hurt guy, man, he could have played that role for quite some time in the league. 2.5 for me for now, and this 2 says toxic. I don't know if Meg has 4. Meg got 4 stars. Now I'm just playing with you, bro. He said, now I'm talking. Damn, I start saying the bad stuff, and Omega like, yeah, now we talking. Now, baby, get this mother. God damn. I definitely think there is a lot more to like about Blue than not to like about Blue. Easily to me. Aaron, AA Ron got 2 stars. Oscar, 3 stars max. 3. Ty, shout out to Ty Church, says 3. Yeah, it's hard for me to get 3. I think is like more on the you can actually see it being long term. It's tough for me to go there because of how this front office operates, who he is as a player. I don't think he's a lead back, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to invest years and money into a non-lead back. That just hasn't been their MO. And even when they tagged Tony Pollard and they tried to make it work, it didn't work that way. And this is a team that remembers their failures. It's a team that remembers their failures, man. Let's talk to the Toxic Tom, who, I reached out to you personally, Toxic. I still want to give my condolences. Hope you and the family are in better spirits, but it's good to hear from you, brother.
Hey, thanks, Guy. It really means a lot. Good now. Rough last weekend, but, that's life. Just got to pick up and keep moving. And love to see that you're back. Your show is like a home-cooked breakfast, man. Just hits differently once you see the notification that it's coming. So I just want to let you know you've been missed, and look forward to more.
Thanks, brother.
So looking for Blue over here. Blue, you're my boy.
My boy Blue.
Yeah, the reason why I just am so pessimistic, cautious is, man, we have been fighting so stupid for so long in Dallas. And I remember, Professor has brought it up already. I remember when we drafted Tony Pollard and thinking, man, that's going to be such a damn good compliment with Zeke. We can just, if he can eat into some of Zeke's carries, we can have, and it just never materialized. And I just started thinking about it even more. The last time I think we really had a RBC, if you want to call it that, was what, Marion Barber and Julius Jones?
And Tashard Choice. If you're talking about a committee, it was the Barber Choice Jones. We've had tandems. And I said this, I think, I don't know if it was last week or another show. We've had these sporadic, random years of quality tandems, even in the Zeke TP era. The Zeke TP thing was only like a year and some change. It really wasn't something that was a thing for 4 years, right? Barber and Felix was, again, like a year, maybe some change, because Felix was always hurt. Julius Jones and I think Marion, I want to say Julius and, was it Julius and Felix or Julius and Marion? They had us, Julius and I think Marion Barber had a year or some change, but never like consistently was there this amazing tandem for 3 years in a row for Dallas. They just never have done it.
And to me, it's just so egregious. I'm like that dog that just came from the shelter from an abusive home, and now here's the new owner. Like, oh, it's going to be different this time. It's like, I will believe it when I see it. And that's what I think will really set a guy like Blue. If you can set him up and use him in a way that you are putting him in position to succeed, which I hope Dallas can be a modern team when it comes to this. They're just 25 years late. I just really hope that they can do something like this, because you can turn a guy like Blue into something far more lethal than just a shotgun set up the A gap for 2 yards in a cloud of dust. And then we wonder why It's not working.
I think it would. Again, this is. I'm really trying not to like sell you guys on this because they can come out here and run a 1995 offense, right? So you know me, I don't like to blow smoke up nobody's ass. Pause if necessary. But I just have this feeling based off of, you know, the way Schotty had talked previously as an OC, the way Schotty talked about his philosophy, who they have hired in Clayton Adams, his resume. I just feel really confident you're going to get a more modern offense. You're going to get an offense that that may not necessarily be Schottenheimer or that may be the Shanahan like exactly, but you'll see a lot of reminiscences of that, right? You'll see them pull all things together: O'Connell, McDaniels, Shanahan, McVay, Andy Reid. I think he's going to take a lot of different things, put it in a pot, make some gumbo, and that's what their offense is going to be. So I'm confident in it. I don't think this is going to be what you saw under Kellen, shotgun, run up the A-gap. I do think they're going to be a lot more creative in their run game, a lot more creative in their pass game, especially getting a guy like Blue the ball toxic. So I ain't trying to sell you, but I am a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just a little bit.
Oh, I don't think you're trying to sell. I think it's one of those situations where we want to see like best case scenario what this could be. And it's good. This is the time of year everyone should have the best case scenarios because everyone loves their picks. Everyone loves their players.
Yeah.
It's not time yet. That's the regular season for Cowboy fans when the hopium wears off and you're like, man, this is the same
we in that cycle
that I've been seeing for I'm back, baby. Yeah.
We in that cycle. No, look, but this is real quick. But isn't this the point in time where we if you're going to be optimistic at any point in the calendar year, this is the point to be optimistic is all. I get it.
Yeah, unless you're a Browns fan. Yeah. This is the best time for being a Cowboys fan. Overall, I will say, though, because I missed show on last Friday, I ran it back and listened to what you had to say, talking about the twin Tylers and everything that's moving forward with like the vision of this team. The one thing that really stuck out to me so far about this offseason, minus the free agency, but what we have with Schotty and what he can control – is I like the fact that they drafted all people that want to frickin' be here, want to play football. They drafted multiple captains. I know a lot of people put a cape on him. Some people do. I'm tired of the Sam Williams, the Kelvin Josephs, the guys that are always about the bullshit. And when it comes time to actually deliver and play football, there's always a but. Oh, but he's hurt. Oh, but he's speeding on the DFW freeway. Oh, but he wants to be a rapper. I'm tired of that nonsense. Like, it may work in other teams, but it does not work here. Really tired. Get me dudes that want to play football. That's all I ask right now. Stop taking these flyers on these dudes.
I feel you. It's something I've been screaming since the Boss Man Fat selection. I said, guys, not that I overlook red flags, but if it's red, I'm telling y'all, I'm screaming it from the mountaintop that it's bright red and it's blinking and stay away. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them. This goes back. The Randy Gregory's, the injury second round guys, the Lyle Collinses, which it may work for a few years, but ultimately those red flags, they came to effect. And I'm not saying Lyle because that was a totally different situation. But I'm talking about Lyle Collins. There was kind of, hey man, is this guy lazy? And that's what, and ultimately I think got him up out of here as he was. But I'm with you. I have been wanting them to get back on the right kind of guy path, right? This is the first time. This is not the first time that they've done the right kind of guy. JG preached that for years. We want the right kind of guys. What are the right kind of guys? They love the sport. They're going to do everything off the field to improve on it, right? So I'm all for that. But the love of the game, I need to know that you love it. Because if you love the game, you're going to love it enough to not put yourself in situations to where you can't play on Sunday. So I'm with you, brother. Get me, and you look at this class, I think Schotty talked about a very mature class, a lot of leaders, a lot of captains, a lot of dudes who have love of the game that are going to do the things necessary off the field to get better on it. And I think you'll see them benefit from that this year, but definitely later down the line. Just go look at Tyler Booker, how he took control of the rookie minicamp, the whole rookie minicamp, not just the line. He was leading the entire rookie minicamp, and I think it's not going to take long for him to take over that locker room and in that room specifically as a leader.
And if you even put a twofold on that, You look at the draft class and you look at the coaching staff. They got rid of the Civil War veterans and the guys that fought in 1812 off this staff. You brought people in that match and can put people in strengths, and they're all saying the same type of stuff. It's not this piecemeal. It's not that car that's built with different parts and models, and we're trying just to make the shit run. And that's the one thing I will say about Schottenheimer is there are times you will see that just because this person is the overall best candidate doesn't mean it's the best candidate for you. And if you have a guy that maybe not the best X's and O's guy, but he knows the people to put in place, and he can be the shit filter, not the shit funnel from the people upstairs, and he can protect them and just say, hey, look, I'll deal with that inbred family. You do what you need to do. You set your game plan. Don't worry about anything else. That's the kind of shit we have needed for decades here. And then you hear him saying things like, I'm putting all the leaders in one spot in the locker room. So now you know in that locker room where your leaders are going to be at all times. Look, leadership is a very broad topic, but details matter. And these little things add up constantly. And when you are reinforcing what you are preaching, that's when people buy in. Anyone can say all day long, well, I'm all about, like Mike McCarthy standing up there with his sleep apnea, basically talking about, well, I want to run the ball and all this stuff. Dude, everything you are saying is the reciprocal of what is actually happening. And you wonder why people don't buy into your bullshit, because it's like a cult of personality. And it just, you can just see it erode over time. So I'm really hoping that with this new regime, and it's already started so far, somewhat, not in free agency, but with their coaching staff and all this stuff, man, get modern and just let the coach do his damn job. And that way he can be that authority figure that needs to happen. Once that happens, I promise you, Cowboys fans, you will see things you haven't seen, probably some, in your entire life. And that is
real.
What I'm always hopeful for. But other than that, thank you for letting me have your time. Happy to hear you on the East Coast. Next time I'm in the Pennsylvania area, maybe I'll drop by and see if we can get some lunch together or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
man, let me know.
Happy to hear you and your family are doing great, man. And other than that, Bomb Squad, keep it up. And fire Nico Collins and bring back Ryan Null. Later, y'all.
Oh, my gosh, man. Shouts out to Toxic Tom. If y'all don't know about the Ryan Null, that is an OG reference from like 2-3 years ago, man. Appreciate you, Toxic. How he just cool, smooth past the sleep apnea is crazy. Oh, just like anything. We gotta be. You're right. He definitely was up there. He probably got a CPAP machine at the crib. It's a big guy. No disrespect to those with CPAP machines. You need them. You need them to breathe. Right? He wants you to live. That's crazy though. Shouts out to my brother Vach in the building. Vach said, E-Rock definitely not going on Twitter complaining. By the way.
Beats Planet.
I feel like I gotta play that one when Vosh come through. It's good with you, Roy. You know, it ain't that, Vosh. That ain't nothing. These kids are always on Twitter anyway nowadays. You know what E-Rock not finna do? E-Rock not finna be in no shootout after a club. E-Rock not finna be driving 95 miles per hour in the school zone. You're not gonna see him doing that. That's the type of, you know what I mean? He not gonna be lazy off the field. That's where it really matters. Cause that stuff is gonna affect you on the field. I don't give a damn what you do. As long as you ain't crashing out like Kanye West, I don't care about that, man. But the minute you want to live that life for real that you rapping about, where you get arrested, that becomes a problem. You know what I mean? Let's rap to 484. This is my writing, brother.
Yeah, God bless you, my brother.
Hey. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, every time. Okay. Every time I be calling Vosh, I always send, your blessings to you and your family. Or every time I call into his show.
Thank you, sir.
You know what I'm saying? because I haven't been on the show, and also too, he told me that like I guess you haven't been on as much as you before. You know what I'm saying? But so I guess you back in town now, out here in Pennsylvania, right?
Back in Central PA, man. So yeah, Reading not far. Yep.
Okay, yeah, you up in Harrisburg, right?
Yep.
I got family up in there.
Don't dox me, but yeah, I'm up in the bird, yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I just got quick, 4 quick things that I want to say. Well, number one, I want to say, honestly, I like the way Scotty's talking. You can see that he's real.
Scotty.
Because when a man can consistently say the same thing, you know he ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? He and he's going about what what he's supposed to be doing. And also the thing I like that receiver, that undrafted receiver Holden, I can't wait to see what he's going to do in camp. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think he can do something. You know what I mean? I'm not putting him, but I think he might can do something. Depending on how the way they use him. And Tyler Booker was a blessing to Dallas. For real. That Tyler Booker, that guard that they picked, they wanted that, receiver. Yeah, we could have used the receiver. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I want a player that when everybody in the locker room is going to follow that player, just as much they're going to follow the coach, you got something, bro. Because you coach basketball like I coach basketball, right?
Yeah.
And I always used to tell my team, it's us against the world. When your team can stay together, your team can do big things together. But then also, too, they got to be able to believe in their coach. Because when you got your coach, when you got your team that they're willing to run through a brick wall with you, trust me, you got something going. And for what I see as of now, you can see it in their eyes. You can see the way they talk. You can see the responsibility that these young men, and these young men that they pick, you can see that they're young, but they got a mature attitude. And that's very important in anything in life. You know what I'm saying? So I think, go ahead, you know what I mean? Then also, too, and I'm letting that Jerry's letting him do his thing so far. Because, Jerry, any other press conference, Jerry would be the number one talker. If you look at this press conference lady, who's been talking? Him. So that's letting you know that Jerry's like, okay, let me fall back because I think, I believe that this man can do what we're supposed to do. Now, it sounds good and it looks good in paper. Let's see if it works for him. And I believe it's going to work for him because he got a good mentality. What you think?
I think that Shotty is going to have an impact because of the person that he is. You just hope that the impact is so great that, again, it can overcome those above him. So I'm excited. I'm excited not just for him. I don't want to make this seem like this is just a Shotty thing because I said this before when it came to the to the Detroit Lions, is that when you have that type of, and he's not a walk-around head coach, but when you have that type of personality type of coach, it really is important for the staff. Like, how do you fill out the staff? And I think he's got a quality staff around him, guys that have had success. Eberflus has had success as just a defensive coordinator. Clayton Adams has had major success as an offensive line guy. And I think Shotty's going to be a chameleon in how this offense rolls. So, with him leading the charge, I feel from a leadership aspect, and I said this about McCarthy, that I think he knows how to run a program, right? I think he knows how to run a program because he's been around for a long time. He talks about that a lot, program. I think Shotty can be a better leader of said program. And I just hope that translates, on the field.
Exactly. And one thing that I noticed, too, like you said, too, and he don't seem like he got an ego. Like, he's like, yo, if you can help this situation get better, if he can help the situation get better, he can help the situation. The thing is about winning. And like you said, let's just see it. And I hope that it works for him because the way that he wants to gel this team, the way he's bringing a new culture, you can see that everybody's buying into it. Let's just see, Lord willing, that it works for him. That's what I got for now. God bless you and your family, Sky. And I'm glad to see that you. One day I might hit you up when I go down to Harrisburg.
Hey man,
I'll be like, yo, Scott, this is Ronnie. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, Mr. Ronnie, hit me up, man. I'm round the way.
All right, keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you, fam. Mr. Ronnie, man, from Reading. Watch you fool, man. Real fool. But yeah, I do think now y'all want me to call him Scotty. As soon as he said Scotty, I thought about that talking time. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty Tuati. I do think Coach Schottenheimer will definitely have an impact that you'll feel. Again, how much of an impact is it going to be able to overcome some things that he just can't control? But he can only control what he can control. If I had to guess about the whole prepared thing, because I'm always go back to this when the Cowboys came out against the Niners, and honestly, we probably should have really called this out a lot more. And I was calling for a change, at least from the OC, but hell, maybe it should have. I know it was only the second year, but maybe it should have been more pressure put on the head coach. When he come out and you say, it wasn't really prepared. They were nervous and something wasn't right. And you publicly admit that. That's a you thing, coach. Your job to get these men prepared and confident. And B. Bird says something that sticks to me to this day. Confidence comes from preparation. Straight facts. You see the Niners coming out there, Kodak Black, bopping and weaving on the road, mind you. Scared to come into AT&T. You see Aaron Jones and them boys like, man, they frauds. How come we come out to 2 games at the crib, we don't look confident? We playing like that. Boys not confident because their preparation. Either they knew, man, this ain't great, or they ain't practiced great. And if we want to go, I don't want to go all the way back to the Packers game, but think about it. When you look at how they started that Packers game, they were not doing the things that were successful in the regular season when they came out. That's just facts. And you go all the way back to that Niners game. I mean, just what a mess. An absolute mess. And, you get those slow starts, and now we got to try to play catch up. I feel like Shotty going to have these boys confident. Will that translate? We'll see. But I don't think you'll see. How many times last year, y'all? How many times? And this is now, I blame the front office for this. Did Coach McCarthy come to the podium talking about some damn practice wasn't great and this and that? That's inexcusable in contract years, which is also the problem, right? You put out lame duck coaches on both sides of the ball. What do you think is going to happen? $720, what you got for us?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
I appreciate you taking my call. I just had 2 quick thoughts about the draft. I was curious on your thoughts about the league kind of colluding against Sanders and how that may have affected our ability to trade back with the need for quarterback kind of being ignored in those first couple rounds. And then my other thought is something I kind of been having an issue with, is just how everyone's been talking about Diggs and how he handled his recovery. Mm-hmm. And it makes me ask the question, who cleared him? Like, we want to blame the player, but in reality, I played in college football, blew my knee out a few times. I couldn't touch a helmet until I was cleared. So those are just my thoughts, and I just think it's kind of weird how they're throwing him under the bus when they had the opportunity to hold him for 4 weeks and make sure he was in shape, rather than, what's going on now, which I understand people have input from people actually in the office and know what will happen, but it's this whole responsibility thing that's bugging me.
Well, let me start right there. From my understanding, talking to people, behind the scenes or whatnot, there was a real life problem with how he attacked his rehab. Like he'll probably even tell you this, and this isn't just Jerry saying this. This is the actual. I want to say was it the trainer? I can't remember. There's a couple guys, a strength guy, there's actually who came out and said he was one of the worst when it came to attacking his rehab. Okay. And that guy is not trying to make headlines. He's not trying to make waves. He's just reporting what he's seeing from the player. So I think that was real. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, and from what I heard was the way he attacked rehab, he got cleared to play because time went on. So yeah, he technically healed, but in that time period, he wasn't strengthening other things, and that is what caused the injury. is if you don't attack rehab head on as serious as you are, then guess what? You may be compromised in a different part of your body. We see that all the time, right? I think that's what happened to Dak. Not that he didn't attack it. It's just that's what happens when your body starts to break down. Yeah, this may have healed, but yes, while it's healing, I'm overcompensating another part of my body. So the word on the street is that him not attacking rehab head on affected the strength of his knee in other places. And boom, we get into the season. He plays a bunch, and it just deteriorated to the point where he could no longer go. So I do think there is some real life issues that Diggs has to correct when it comes to that. Rehab is not fun. It's not at all. I've been there too. I've had multiple issues with my knee, surgery on my knee. It is excruciatingly. It sucks. I'm gonna just be honest. It absolutely sucks. But when you're getting, paid millions, and when you're all pro and you're looked at as a guy, we need you out there, you got to attack that a little bit better. So hopefully he is, and hopefully he comes back stronger. But that part of it, I do think there's some truth to it.
Mm-hmm. I can appreciate that for sure.
As for Shedeur, I think teams definitely were scared off by who Shedeur, the whole off the field Shedeur, right? The allure, the star, the confidence. I definitely think some teams were put off by it. Shedeur the player, I didn't think Shedeur the player was a top 10 pick worthy type of guy, but I'll be honest, I definitely didn't think he was going to fall that far. Like in a league that the quarterback tax gets crazy, where you see Jake Locker, and I'm always going to bring this up, Christian Ponder, Christian Hackenberg, I think went high. Like, what's my man Malik Willis? Come on, what we talking about, Willis? These quarterbacks go higher than Sanders. There's absolutely something else playing in his drop, man. Now, did that affect the Cowboys trade situation? Nah. Maybe. I don't think one player in the draft should affect you and how you move around the draft. That's a you problem. The Cowboys just ain't good at it, bro. They're not savvy at being able to aggressively trade up or down. Now, have they traded down? Absolutely. They've traded down a few times, but I'm talking about being able to recoup first round, second round picks for the next years and then using that ammo. They don't do that. They haven't done that since, and then correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've done that since they traded out the first round and took Julius Jones in the second round. Like, they haven't. Am I wrong? Can somebody help me out here? I don't recall the Cowboys doing that since then.
Yeah, I'm confused with that too. I was just curious, how quarterback add so much value to the draft. People start trading up so they can get somebody. But yeah, man, I appreciate you answering my questions, and I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Good call.
Have a good one.
Yeah, man. There's definitely a quarterback tax that I thought for sure Shedeur Sanders would have been a part of. Maybe definitely not in the top 10, top 15. I still was like maybe, but falling out the first round, fine. Okay, falling as far as he did, it's 100% other things that come with it. Teams probably didn't want the circus. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm pretty sure that's most of it, because you cannot tell me some of these quarterbacks that came out this year, that came out in previous years. What was he, 140 something? 5th round pick or whatever it was? Stop it. Stop it. All right, let's get a couple more. Hit the supers and let you guys get on your ways. Facts watching Mac Jones, bro. What you talking about? If Shedeur played for Alabama, I know other things he probably wouldn't be able to do with Alabama. He would have won a natty too. Anyway, let's get Los on the horn. What's up with you, Los?
Yo, good morning, Scott, man. Hope you're having a blessed morning. And how about my Dallas Stars, man? That's all I got to say for that part, man. I'm just happy that at least one Dallas team is actually
I was going to bring that up for
great
you,
in the
too.
playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But real quick, man, just harping on my one being on just as running back. And there was some great running backs in this draft class, Guy. As you saw in the draft, the draft coverage you and Push the King and the other coverages y'all does. Great coverage like always. But, you had Giddens on there, Ollie Gordon, however, Blue was not far off from that board. And, we got Blue. So it is what it is. But one thing you'll see right out the gate is the speed. Opening the gap, see it, attack it, and he runs past dudes, right, Sky?
Mm-hmm.
But he does have a fumbling issue, and it could be many factors. It could be many factors to that. But the point is, it can be fixed. However, it is a very glaring issue because one thing we do harp on, Sky, is having possession of that football and finishing. If you're not doing those two things in the NFL, you are giving time of possession to your rival, whoever you're going against, and that's just, you're not going to win that way. So he does have to fix that issue. And I do want to see him used often, Sky, but I would do it with precaution and how we utilize him. No reason we should draft a guy like Maffa and then trying to ask Blue to attack the middle in between those defensive tackles, Like, that's not his game. But if we utilize Maffa and Blue to their strengths, I think this O-line and the run game can work hand-in-hand to your players' abilities and their strengths. Because sometimes I do think Cowboys went, old coaching staff, of course, back to their old middle school football ways, trying to be too cute and stuck in the mud of the old 1990s playbook. And I just feel like with Shotty, there's hope in changing that philosophy. And yeah, that's all I got, Sky.
All right, man. Appreciate you. That's Los, ladies and gentlemen. Shouts out to the Dallas Stars, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I think Blue can run between the A's and B's, but you have to be strategic. Don't use Blue as your, hey man, 2nd and 2. We trying to get a power, we're trying to get those 2 yards from Blue. Nah. I'm with you. Like, if you're going to run out a committee or tandem approach, then yes, use those guys to their strengths. Based off of what I'm, selection of Booker, what I think this interior offensive line can be. Clayton Adams, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of wide zone and a lot of things on the edge unless it's like pin pull type stuff, maybe some buck stuff where we get wide with it or at least to the C. But Blue, I don't want to label Blue as a gadget guy. I said this before. I don't want the gadget guy is Turpin. Blue is a running back. That is an exceptional exceptional receiver out the backfield. Get him in space for sure. I just would hate that they limit him to, all right, man, he's just a satellite back, because then I get nervous that they're only going to use him in that way. And now we're right back into that kind of that just circle of, okay, we have backs in the backfield that specialize in well-suited things, but we're not utilizing them because we want to box them into one thing. I think Jaden Blue can do a multitude of things. I'm not saying be the power guy. No, but please don't treat him like a gadget guy. Treat him like a weapon out the backfield that can do things from A to C, outside, slot, wide, catching out the backfield. I think he could do a lot of things. I do. Just make sure you got a guy like I know we're talking about Maffa. It's probably going to be Javonte Williams, but make sure you got that thunder that can protect him from being overutilized because of the fumble issues. He's not a big guy in stature. Plus, man, it's 2025. If you're going to be the lead back RB1 type, there's like maybe 4 or 5 of those that you consistently roll out every year, right? The league has moved to a tandem approach, and that's why I think he'd be a perfect complementary back to a thunder type. Perfect. All right, the last one here. We got our guy JR in the building. What's up with you?
Yo, what's good, baby? Woo! Oh, we got good football this morning. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you? You definitely took a blue chew, didn't you? You on one already.
Look. I can't. In lieu of what's going on with our uncle Shannon Sharp, I have to put allegedly in front of everything we got going on.
You're right.
No, man, no. But hey, I'm excited, man. I'm just excited, that I caught a podcast, man, on my day off. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's always good to hear from you, talking good football. You know what I'm saying? To see our Cowboys community really being rewarded for the hard work that you guys put in for us, so that you guys are keeping us informed. You guys are training us on how to watch film. I have went to O-Line U with Vach, and now Brian Broaddus, the draft guru, and now I'm looking at guards. I'm looking at, okay, where's his feet? Okay, he punched on that one. That was good, but he wasn't locked in. His hips are tight. I wasn't using none of that stuff before.
Vach a doctor, bro. Vach is the reason why, there was, if you guys watched the Voch and Boy live show when we were doing our thing, he would jokingly, he ain't joking, but I it's funny to me. He would call me O-line guy, but I always say he's the reason why I love watching offensive line film and have learned a whole lot from him. So yeah, he's a not a doctor, a professor. He's a professor when it comes to teaching that. Professor
Vach, hashtag Professor Vach. That's where it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and that makes me excited about our first round pick, Tyler Booker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know we was talking about running back, our 1 and 2 punch, which just to hint that I don't think that a running back by committee approach is effective, because we've done it in recent years. I think that was like 2013 or something like that. After we moved on from DeMarco Murray, after that 1,800-yard season he gave us, you know what I'm saying? Then we went like Joseph Randall, Lance Dunbar, and our running game was atrocious. Then we tried it in 2017. I think that was before the Amarca. We didn't want to go get number one wide receiver. We had moved on from Dez. We had, I think we still had Terrence Williams, somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Wide receiver by committee is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yeah. That's silly. Running back by committee is legitimate. That works. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's proof in the league that works. You can have multiple backs and run them out there and have a successful offense. The Cowboys have not been consistently good at it, though. Like they've only been consistently good at having a lead and a workhorse under previous regimes. And as I stated earlier in the show, JR, is that the only reason why, and I can't even say I have confidence in this backfield just quite yet. We're just talking about Blue. But I have confidence in their approach for the committee, or their approach for a tandem, is because of Clayton Adams and because of Brian Schottenheimer. These guys, I think, are strategically going to try to utilize a tandem. I just think we need more of an upgrade in the backfield. I don't think that the talent is all the way there. I think Blue, no matter who the hell is the Thunder, is absolutely that second punch, that lightning. But if we had a better lead, I think you'd be more confident in a tandem approach, or at least I think you should be, because of Clayton Adams and Schottenheimer. You're not wrong in that they've tried this approach previously under Garrett. Even under McCarthy in a way, and it didn't work, because I don't think those guys were creative in it. I don't think the front office gave them enough, in my opinion. Hell, you could argue they ain't giving them enough right now if you want to be real. Remember, like you just brought up the 2015 year where we had all those backs. It's kind of reminiscent, where he just kind of plugged a bunch of backs back there. And I don't think we were committed to it. So I think Clayton and Shotty will be committed, but maybe year one, you might see an improvement in run game, but I think year two, we go get better backs. I think that's when it could potentially take off.
Yeah. I agree. I agree there. We just have to do the right thing. I don't know why, when it comes to free agency, we refuse to do the right thing. We can go we can just go down the line with positions, you know what I'm saying? So, but hey, I'm excited to see what OTAs are going to look like. I'm excited to see, what schemes we come up with. And I would say this, and bad taste in my mouth, but I have to be truthful. We need to go back and look at the packages that the Eagles had in place when they had Brian Westbrook and when they had Darren Sproles. Because with Jaydon Blue, if we are able to utilize him, and I think it's reminiscent of what the Rams did in '99 with the Hall of Fame running back Marshall Faulk, where it's like, hey, we're gonna not just look at you as a carries guy, but a touches guy. So we're going to get you in the passing game. We're going to get you in that little bubble route coming out the screen because can't no linebacker keep up with you. You know what I'm saying? They'll have to commit a safety to you. Then that opens up our passing game. I think they need to kind of open up. They need to explore those types of schemes, you know, because when we think about our fast guys, we have one play, jet sweep. And I'm like, good night. Like, there is way more to this pie other than a jet sweep. You know what I'm saying? Like, good night. You know what I'm saying? So I would hope that they would do that type of homework because I think if we don't have a number 2, then we could utilize our tight end, CD Lamb, and that backfield weapon as that, you know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that to see what we do. You know what I'm saying? Now, Scott, I heard y'all saying something, baby. I heard y'all talking about a particular player and what happened in the draft. Now, some told me to pick up my darn phone, get on YouTube, and check in with my boy Sky. You know I love you. You know you're my dog, baby.
Appreciate
but I
Coach.
heard what's going on, and you know I keep receipts, and I got a little time today, but I got time today. So all I want to say is this: to all of those out there, the Brian Dayballs, okay, the Saints organization, because now I got to call you out. Y'all done got on national TV and y'all done said some things, and now I got to call y'all. We got to hold y'all to the fire. Now you trying to say that Dylan Gabriel. Now no shot to the player. No slant to the player. But you're telling me Dylan Gabriel is better than a Shedeur Sanders. Okay, name me. Hold on, and I just ask y'all this for everybody who's listening who like doing homework. Okay, go out and find how many quarterbacks in the last 5 years threw for 4,000 yards. 35 plus touchdowns, had some type of award winner, was the player of their conference, all right, and made it to a bowl game, and did it without a running game over 1,000 yards. Go find that player. Go find that player. Oh, hold on, and not to mention, set the record for most completion percentage, highest completion percentage in all of FBS history. At 74%. Go find that player. And I bet you if you really do your homework, you're only going to find one. And you know who that one is. And he's on the Cleveland Browns. And I'm going to tell you like this. They done messed up. But that's all right, though. Because we keep them receipts. And all we going to tell y'all is, keep that same energy when season comes, baby. That's prime. Shout out to Sky. Y'all hit that like, subscribe, and that follow button. Because we taking this thing to the top, baby. It's only one place you can get prime time to the limit. Sky football in the morning when you need it, on your way at work, getting ready for work, starting your day off at work where you're going to get the best football coverage. And that's right here, baby. Skywalker Steel. And that's prime, baby. Go on and hit that theme music.
I ain't got the theme music, but appreciate you, Coach /JR. God dang, that impression is scary. I said this last year or 2 years ago, whenever he first brought it out. Somebody need to send that to Coach Prime, bro. Shiloh do a hell of a Coach Prime impression. That's his pops, but damn, JR, that's scary, bro. Because real rap, if I didn't have caller ID and it got you saved on here, and just a random number popped up, and you never did this before, I'd be like, yo, is Coach Prime? That's you? That's scary, bro. That's scary. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the energy. Always come with it, JR. Appreciate you guys coming through this morning. Let's hit this chat. Let's get some of these supers. Before I get to the supers, shouts out to my brother Mel, man. Mel, I gotta. He always says, "Good morning, King," to the morning King. I think that's just fire to me. I need to somehow, some way incorporate that to this. But Mel brought up, he said Clayton didn't have the committee or tandem in Arizona. No, they ran with Connor because they didn't really have no backs that were complementary to Connor in that way. So they didn't really run it. But go back to when he was with the Colts and go look at his successes there. Granted, they absolutely had a lead back in JT in like 2020 whenever they drafted him. But prior to that, it was like Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines, and then they got JT. And even with JT as a lead back, Naheem Hines still was more of a tandem than you think. because he had some years where he had 40 and 50 or 60 receptions. So he was utilized out the backfield as a pass catcher. So that goes back to my tandem situation, right? Like the league is moving more towards using multiple backs than one back. There's like a handful of squads that use one back. And if you got that guy, salute to you. But even if you have that guy, it is smart to get a complimentary to that guy and utilize him. And that's what Blue, I think, is. The problem goes back to what I was talking about with the previous caller. I might even have been with JR. I don't think the backfield is complete, though. Like, I definitely think they need to upgrade around Blue. That's just no knock to those other Sanders and Javonte and Maffa and things like that. And, maybe they can get by with it, but I definitely think they need to upgrade whoever the lead guy is. And I don't know that they'll upgrade it this year, but moving forward, hopefully they do. Yo, a smoke one for you. That one was crazy. That one was crazy. JR, man, you want some? Yeah, they drafted Benson, but he wasn't like that. He wasn't a Blue type to complement Connor, and they didn't utilize him in that way. Now he got some carries as a rookie, but it was definitely Connor. And if you guys remember, we showed. Look, even if you want to say, all right, cool, they didn't have a tandem. Connor was flaming a little bit in Arizona. Then old boy got there, and we saw the Clayton Adams effect. For those who may have missed it, I mean, I think I still got the graphic here. Clayton Adams was a real effect. And look, Connor cool. But anybody think Connor is like one of them ones? He cool. He's solid. He good. I take a Connor on my team, especially in the tandem. He ain't one of them ones. And he was looking like, damn, we made a mistake. Then Clayton Adams got there. And those 2 years under Clayton Adams, he averaged almost 5 yards per carry. 1 year he did. The previous years, he averaged less than 4 or at 4. He had 65 10-yard games, 10-yard plus gains in the 2 years with Clayton Adams. The 2 years prior, he had 31. He had 29 15-plus yard games. The 2 years prior, he had 13. Maybe Javonte Williams gets that Clayton Adams effect. Maybe, Sanders, whomever gets that Clayton Adams effect. But I'd like to see that effect with a little bit better player, too. That's what I'm saying. A little bit better player. All right, let's get to these supers. Appreciate y'all dropping these supers, by the way. Recluse said they ran some pistols. You're going to see that in Dallas. You're going to see some of that in Dallas. Clayton talked a little bit about that. Again, get ready. And if it doesn't happen, I'll come right on here and say, man, I was totally wrong. But get ready to see a more modern offense. Get ready to, like I said, see a lot of what you've seen in the McDaniels, the Shanahans, McVays, and even some of O'Connell's and Andy Reid's. Like, get ready to see some of that. You're not about to just see West Coast, Texas Coast, Jason Garrett, 95 offense. Get ready to see a little bit more of a whole. Yes, T-Jack. How many years have I been saying that? Scheme absolutely matters. All right, let's get some. I read a few earlier. I didn't read them all. Let's see here. Dro knows. Shouts out to you. He dropped 5. Hold on, give me my button.
Super chat.
He said, Schotty peep game when he was an assistant. He will build the team culture in spite of the Joneses. He understands the assignment. I 100% think he will do his best, and I think he will establish a locker room culture. I stand firm. You cannot build an organizational team culture unless it begins at the top. But that locker room culture, I think he will definitely have a huge impact on that. And you just hope that it is able to engulf the entire organization. But I definitely agree in the sense that he knows what he's up against. I think he, at least in the locker room, he saw how they was moving with McCarthy. And I think he's going to do everything in his power to establish a better locker room culture. DB dropped 5.
Super chat.
He said, Blue more Alvin Kamara for me. Man, if he can beat Alvin Kamara. Man, that's a high bar. Now you could say, because I had comped him to Devin A. Chain, which he's had fantastic years, right? Definitely last year. But Kamara is Kamara, right? But Kamara also had Ingram. Kamara was more blue, right, than he was the lead back Kamara that he is now. So if we can get our Ingram, yeah, you definitely got a Kamara on your hands. TB.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, Blue is the toy for Jerry. Why for Jerry? Pollard came in and Zeke was the guy Jerry played politics with. Yes, he did. I think if politics get involved, it will be in favor of Blue. So this is another reason why, if you go back and look at our ratings, I said something along the lines of this backfield's wide open. I don't think they'll play politics with a 5th round running back. I don't think this pick was a toy for Jerry Jones. I think that this pick was strategically done because they're going to roll with a 1-2 type of punch. They went out and got a powerful type of back and a guy that they believe can be that kind of power back to his lightning in Javonte Williams. They drafted that power back after taking him. I think this is strategic. I don't think it was just for play at all. The politics was definitely involved when Tony got here, which is why he couldn't get on the field as much. There is no politics. I don't think Blue is politics. Blue's a 5th round pick. I don't think this is for play at all. It's almost impossible to play politics in that backfield. If that's the case, Deuce Vaughn would have played a lot more. He was picked 1 round, and his dad's on the damn team. But yeah, no, I don't agree with that one, TB, but I definitely agree that there was politics play early on. There is no Zeke in this room to do that. There's no excuse not to get Blue involved here. He's the only guy in that backfield that has a skill set that nobody else has. Only guy. David J.
Super chat.
Drop 5. What I want to know is, did Kellen ever... Did Kellen ever get it? I mean, he got kids. He mother got it, David. Big Max drop 5.
Super chat.
Big Max said, McCarthy go to sleep looking like a fighter pilot every night. God damn, Big Max. Why y'all coming at him like that? I was just like everything. I was tired. You definitely be breathing like that, man. You definitely be breathing like that.
Super chat.
G-Dub drop 5 and says, step 1, be a disciplined, well-coached team. Feels like no matter who the hell the coach is, hardly ever disciplined, but hopefully we can change that. Step 2. Okay, wait. Step 1, be a disciplined, well-coached team that will add 2 to 3 wins a year to this team that will keep us in every game. Yeah, man. I mean, never going to argue about being more disciplined.
Super chat.
Smoke One drop 10 and says, Blue's new name will be Blue Streak. Hey, big facts. We building for now and years to come. I feel like we're started off good so far. Let's go, man. I like the Blue Streak. Underrated movie. Me and Jesse, we went back and forth on this. He doesn't believe so, but I believe Blue Streak is a funny, good Mark movie. And then Aaron dropped 5.
Super chat.
And said, I'd love Blue pick if they did better with power back pick or free agent pickup. That's kind of what we were talking about, right? Like, I bet you feel a little better about it if you're down on Blue, if they had a better Thunder. Mafa with the shoulder injury isn't why he doesn't have any lateral ability. Yeah, he's not going to fool anybody in open space. He's a downhill power guy. No doubt. I mean, dude is 6'1", 234, and look, he put some peanut butter on. You're talking about it possibly can get close to 240. He could probably play at like 238, right? And just the pure football, physical aspect of the game, man, it'd be nice to have a 240 guy like that. And I know you could say Hunter Lipke, but Hunter a little bit more nimble. Maffa will run your ass over. I don't think Maffa's like that, but man, if he's a part of the committee and he can just get downhill on a handful of carries and run dudes over and get you first, again, it has to be committee. I ain't asking him to be my lead guy. This is probably Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams is a better back than Maffa, but if Maffa could show anything, then somebody had asked me this question, well, who you think would be the starter or lead back? I think it's be Javonte right now. But if my backfield is Javonte, Blue, Mafa, and Lipke, man, you can make that work. Now you gotta get somebody that can complement these dudes on the practice squad. It's still not an inspiring backfield. You have to really lean into their strengths, right? Scheme it up, block it up, things like that. But I'm just talking about what we're dealing with. This is what we got right now. I definitely think though they need to upgrade it. Will they do it? Probably not. I mean, we'll see, but probably not. And let me refresh. I think we're good over here. Oh, Ratio just dropped 5. Appreciate your Ratio.
Super chat.
Explain the Shamar James trade up like having an IQ of 2. We talked about this the other day, and I got to dig into his film and his background a little bit more. From my exterior viewpoint, a guy that can get downhill from a blitzing standpoint, but I was a little bit perplexed because Eberflus doesn't blitz in that manner. A more of a will type guy, keep clean, run, hit, talk shit type guy. I wouldn't say an uber athlete at all, right? He ran like a 4.7 something. But this look, I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of feels like the Eric Scott situation. Although played at a better competition school, right? Power 5 in Florida. Just it was when they traded up for Eric Scott, I was like, huh. Okay. I mean, I looked at the room and I was like, I don't really see a spot for this kid, but maybe in the future. Maybe they're looking at this as a future pick because right now in that room, I special teams. You know what I'm saying? Like special teams right now. I don't see Shamar James being a starter, taking anybody's starter position or anybody's game day reps. But I'd have to dive a little bit more into him. No, not bad. No, Mafa said 4-5 guy with power, smoke on to go with him. Not bad. No. I mean, given a specific role, 230, 235, 6'1", that's a big boy. Just play downhill. You just get him downhill. Don't ask him to give you wiggle. I don't think he has terrible vision. Shouts out to Foots. We were looking at that, or he was looking at that. But right now, I'm not confident to say Mafa is going to be the lead back. You go out there and take it. Awesome. I think right now it's Javonte, though. I think Javonte's better right now. He's just injured guy. Scott's Tots. Fag. Hey, yo, Special K, that's kind of what I'm looking at. He said, Mafa's the type of back you create on Madden. Y'all want to know one of my favorite backs that I was so jealous the Cowboys. Really, no team really had this type of back, but I've always wanted this type of back on the team. Jacobs from the Giants. 6'4". Didn't he go 6'4", 260? They want to talk about a committee. Oftentimes I bring up the Giants because they rolled out committees. The Patriots, they rolled out committees. But Brandon Jacob, they don't make him like that. And you don't give a damn about him having any wiggle. He's 6'4", 260, get downhill. When he ran over, was it LaRon Landry? And if y'all don't know who LaRon Landry is, just look up LaRon Landry. His neck is ridiculous. It's no small dude. Brandon Jacobs put that man in the dirt. He is the get off the bus first. He is you're in high school, right? And you see he's lined up in the backfield. Look, I know they got, we got kind of the other version of Brandon Jacobs and King Henry. Very similar, but Henry's a much better player. But Brandon, if he could be Brandon Jacobs, I don't need Brandon Jacobs to try to make somebody miss. Just get downhill, man. You get to that goal line, punch it in. I ain't asking Phil Moffitt to be nothing but Brandon Jacobs. But they don't make him like that no more, man. They don't make him like King Henry. I'm sorry, King Henry. Yeah, Jacobs wanted all the smoke. But go look up Brandon Jacobs trucks LaRon Landry. And that was probably LaRon Landry on them steroids. Straight like that. 6'4", 265. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, appreciate y'all coming through. All 1,500 of y'all. We got a bunch of you guys here over on YouTube. And then for those who, again, I said I'm gonna try to continue to stream over there on X so people can get familiar with the brand and what we do over here, man. I enjoy this. I love doing this for you guys. We'll be back probably Wednesday. I think what I'm gonna do, break it up a little bit. We'll get a mailbag going. Y'all know how I love the mailbags, man. We'll get a mailbag going. We'll see if we can get my brother Vach on here, and we'll answer some questions from you guys. And then I want to get to E-Rock. I want to get to Donovan Izaraku, Easy E, whatever we want to call him, this week to end the week for our Rating the Draft series. But if you missed it today, we did rate our guy Jaydon Blue. And for those who missed my star ratings, I gave him 4 stars and a value. I just think getting a home run hitter in the 5th round like this is tremendous value, and it's really not much risk. For his year 1 impact, his rookie impact, I gave it 4. I am confident that they will utilize this guy because they almost don't have a choice. The backfield doesn't have a guy that they can play politics with. From a pure talent standpoint, he's one of the most talented guys in that backfield, if not the. And he has a skill set that surpasses many others in that room. And then for his long-term outlook, I was low on that. 2.5 stars. Don't think a change of pace back is going to get a long-term commitment financially or in years here in Dallas. He has to develop into RB1, and until he does that, pretty down on him being here past his rookie contract unless it is extremely dirt cheap. Even honestly, if he has a really solid career here in Dallas as a change of pace back, number 2 type back, unless they franchise tag him, it's very possible they'll want to pay him, another team, more money than the Cowboys are comfortable with. So I gave that a 2.5 stars. So that was our rating series for today. On the way out, hit that like button, please, 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 please. And I'll catch y'all on Wednesday if everything shakes out right. Thank you. Creative Edge said, what's up, Scotty? Your show has been straight fire. Thanks for all you do. Now, thank you guys for joining me today in the morning to get your day started. I wasn't sure how I wanted to announce this because I got to get in the chat and talk to the guys here. But I'm going to go ahead and announce it. I didn't know if we was going to do some type of rollout, but I don't think we got time for that. So if you want to catch your boy giving some more takes on the Cowboys each and every week, I will be the new co-host on the up and coming Cowboys Collective show. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight we will be live at 7 Eastern, I believe. So make sure y'all come through, kicking it with our guys. Foots the King, Law Nation, and John Machota. I am excited for this. Extremely, extremely excited to join this panel for the foreseeable future. We got a lot of cool things in store. And yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Y'all know I love talking ball with Foots. He's always on the show. Me and Law, we talk behind the scenes about really a lot of life stuff, but I'm always tapping into his stuff. And John is great at what he does as a beat reporter. I'm just thankful and excited to be a part of what I call, man, these guys are goats at what they do. So you can catch me. You can catch me with my guys on Cowboys Collective twice a week. Starting tonight, I will be there. So that'll be fun. Wasn't sure how I was going to roll it out, but we're talking about it right now. Just tell y'all, make sure y'all get in there. I'll be posting it on Twitter. I'll be posting it here on YouTube as well. But your boy is the new co-host, the new panel member of Cowboys Collective, baby. With that said, I'm going to go ahead now and press this button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Nah, man. Nah. Ain't got no shade. We ain't doing all that. Just blessed to be a part of it with my guys, that's all. Blessed to be a part of it. So I guess I'll see y'all later tonight. Come on through. Should be a good one. Love y'all. We out of here. Peace.
Bomb Squad!